Okay. So, how I met your mother, part one. So January '86, I started managing a video store downtown Seattle, where the W Hotel is, smack in the heart of downtown. Anyone has to do this, but especially the manager has to take the money and take it to the bank each day, or every couple days, or after a weekend on Monday. And the bank branch was the Columbia, not the Columbia Tower, the Seafirst Tower, what is known back then, the biggest building in Seattle, the big black box. And at the bottom of that building, when you walked in the lobby, you would go down an escalator into the bank branch. So I would do that. The merchant tellers were just for the businesses, were special, and there was it was at the far end of the line of tellers. To know that there were two tellers that were mainly there. I can't remember the name of the older lady who was nice, and then there was this younger woman who I found quite attractive. Her name was Liane. Over time, I would make sure that I would take the deposits, whatever I would do to be able to go there to make change. You know, maybe we'd need quarters or ones or whatever, and they'd have to be counted out. The thing is, it was a 50-50 draw of who you would get. So at times, I would wait in the lobby and look down into the bank. I would come down the escalator in a time that just as it looked like the person that Liane was working with is about to wrap up the business and she would be the free one. I think that worked some. I mean, I know it didn't work all the time, but I know it worked a good amount of the time. I talked about writing, that had done writing in college and one acts, and that she said that she was a reader. I can't remember if I got to her the story I'd written in line, or that was what got us to our first lunch, and it was lunch. It couldn't be dinner. And it took me, good golly, probably 3 months to ask her out because, you know, you're stupid when you're young. So at some point, I'd given her this one act that I had written in college that was kind of a fantasy of how I grew up, and a combination of that and Arthur Miller's All My Sons. And I think she said that's when she realized there was something going on in my head besides just humor all the time, that there was something there. So we went to a first lunch at a sandwich shop nearby and got to know each other a little better. We had a second lunch, and I brought a camera along that day. I do remember I did snap a photo. She was just beautiful, and I liked everything about her. One of the reasons I had to ask her out for that lunch was a little more history. In the video back then, video stores would buy videos when they would come out 9 months, a year after they were in the theaters. Have these big events, and they'd invite a whole bunch of people at night. They'd have a lot of food. And it was, you know, fun evening. It was a way to get along with other video store owners who you might meet. That was usually a good time. And there would often be a contest or a prize winning. You know, they draw a number out of a hat. For little things, could be free movies, it could be some tchotchkes. Easily the best prize ever for one of these was one for a movie called Remo Williams, The Adventure Begins. And it was such a bad movie that there was never a second film. It was with Fred Ward. And the end of the film, the climax, took place at the Statue of Liberty, which was in scaffolding at the time as it was being updated. So the winner won an all-expense-paid trip to for New York for the relighting of the Statue of Liberty, which is going to be on July 4th. So you've got airfare and hotel and tickets to a show, and there's a couple big parties you would go to, and you would get grandstand tickets for this huge 4th of July firework around the entire Manhattan Island. And I won that. So when I took your mom to lunch that day, I said, look, I won this prize in New York. You don't know me that well, but I can tell you that I would be I'd be a perfect gentleman. I wouldn't do anything. We'd have separate beds. But I know that I would regret it if I didn't ask if you want to come with me to New York for this weekend. She said no.